majority of the stuff with these 99 with the later cars, I mean, obviously they're running on a Goodyear now, so if the Ferrari can sort of maximise the potential like the Goodyear and make it manage through the race better than maybe some of the earlier stuff. I mean, there's, you know, the 993s and 907s, if they're sort of sorter on the tyre, generally if the Ferrari is slightly more modern, it might be a bit more advanced in certain places with traction control and ABS, and if it can make the tyre manage better for this 40-minute race, then there's a big advantage to be had.
We've also got Sebastian Glaser, who's literally just jumped out of his 3-litre CSL BMW, winning the Heritage Touring Cup race, and he's straight in to a 993 GT2 Evo. I mean, what's amazed me is, Seb, is that Peter Auto events, there's so many drivers who are running 2, sometimes even 3 or 4 cars, and they're in and out of different cars all the time. I mean, how do you do that? How do you change that cassette in your brain so quickly when you're moving from, you know, a 1970s touring car to a, you know, late 90s GT car in Sebastian's case?
To be honest, it's very difficult. I mean, yeah, Sebastian literally jump out of the CSL and straight into the 993. I think, yeah, it takes a real adjusting. I mean, even for me, from the Alpha to the 2-litre, and when I've jumped in more modern cars as well, you really have to just take a moment, think, right, this is what I need to do in this car to maximise the potential. Otherwise, you end up spending 3 laps sussing it out again, and in a race, you just don't have 3 laps. So, yeah, it's very tricky to do that. And yeah, some of the guys that are probably in these cars all weekend, they'll have a slight advantage initially, but there's obviously limited testing. Imola's a new circuit this year, so actually I think some of these guys who have probably done more track running may have a bit more of an advantage just because they actually know the circuit better.
Tell us about the circuit, because I've driven it on the simulator, and I've always thought this is such a characterful circuit. What's it like to be out there? And you've been out there in a variety of machinery. What have you thought? It's
fantastic. It's a real driver's track. There's a lot of braking zones. There's a lot of curb usage. Sort of a good variation of corners, and it's really, really fun. I mean, the last time I was here was like 6-7 years ago in a cup car, and to be honest, this was good fun in a historic car that's moving around. Yeah, it's a real challenge. But no, I think these cars now in the RL2 be very enjoyable.
Porsche 993. This is the car that really speaks to me. The GT2, excuse me, Evo, which ran big horsepower, turbocharged, of course, as well. It went back to naturally aspirated for the 996 generation. Those split gold wheels there. For me, like
BBS, yes, mega, looks great,
properly mega, and a real mixture of eras and blend of eras here, because you've got the cars up the front, the Ferrari F430, sequential gearbox, paddle shift, etc. But you don't have to go much further down the grid, and you're straight. You know, the 993s, they're all on H pattern. Even, you know, you look through those. We were speaking to actually one of the teams last night running the Red Bull 996. They had to change the gearbox. The third gear was missing. So, and they were enjoying their dinner. So I think it might have been put in this morning. So, somehow too. Have you driven a 993 before, Seb?
I haven't, to be honest. No, not at all. But they look good fun. I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, yeah, Mark's up to there. I think the cars must be seriously quick, you know, against the 430s. I mean, it's obviously 430 is a much more modern car, so there's obviously some advantage in power and various things somewhere.
Of course, you've of course worked with Tuthill Porsche. So much going on there at the moment, both from the 1960s end, from the 2-litre Cup, but some fairly recent stuff as well. What's going on within Tuthill HQ? What's Richard conjuring up at the moment?
A lot is the short answer to that. No, we're very lucky. There's a lot going on. We've got 2-litre cars here this weekend. We've got a buggy out in Aragon with Richard's Sun Racing. We've got 22 safari cars going to Kenya in December, which is sort of a 3,500 kilometre race on dirt, gravel, mud, water. In historic Porsches as well in December this year, and then yeah, various other road car projects with GT1, 911K, and yeah, some other stuff in the pipeline as well. So it's very busy there at the minute, but yeah, incredibly enjoyable, and a broad range of vehicles. Obviously, Philip Kadori on the front row has done safari many a times. I think we've got a delayed start.
Oh, that's not what we like to see. That's definitely not what we like to see. Yeah, Philip, he had a great run yesterday in that F430 Team Modena car, the red car. He threw me off, though, because I was doing my homework. I was looking at the chassis number, and it was 2606. And I look at it and I was like, goodness me, that's a Risi Competizione double Le Mans winning car. Turns out it's 2636. It's not. So you see,
That's probably in the Ferrari Museum somewhere, that car.
I was thinking it probably would be, because I was thinking, why is it not running in the Risi livery? You would think that, but I got sent down a rabbit hole there. So thanks for that one, Philip, or whoever put the entry in. The Busch twins, they've got a busy afternoon actually, because they've got this GT3 RS 996. And also have a Porsche 935, the very first Porsche Kramer 935. Now, is the delay? Have we got the cars in the wrong position, do you think?
Maybe Seb Glacer's held everyone up with his quick jump out of the CSL. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe they've had a bit of a muddle up. But
If this is a silly question, but if you're doing a very quick jump from the previous race to this one, could a mechanic bring the car to the grid for you? Or do you have to take the car to the grid?
It's a good question. I think you have to take it from assembly area round, but providing the course car hasn't left, you can join the grid. As soon as the course car goes, you would then, or I think you can do a lap, and if you're out on the same lap, but as soon as they line up on the grid, you have to start from pit lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so if you're slightly behind, you can then regain your position. But yeah.
It's a quick change. No time to change your overalls if you've got matching overalls to your car as well.
Now, he will be warm, bless him, and that's for sure.
Yes. Well, I'm glad to see that car number 251, Giancarlo Tanzi, is taken to the grid, because the reason why I say that is that's the car that had the new gearbox in this, either last night or this morning. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, but really cool story with that car. Giancarlo bought the car. It was driven by Dieter Quester at Daytona in the mid-2000s, and he's acquired the car, and they had a bit of a reunion at the Red Bull Ring last year, and great fun. We had a great laugh last night at the dinner. Were you at the dinner last night?
I wasn't. No, I chose for shelter last night with the weather conditions. I was in somewhere much drier, but no, unfortunately I wasn't there. But I think
we didn't have to sit in the pit lane in the rain.
Oh,
they rehoused us in the driver's car.
That's good news. That might have just taken the edge off it slightly.
soggy food. Yeah,
exactly,
maybe not so good for that. What's on for the rest of the season for you? I mean, I'm a big rally guy. This isn't a rallying event, but we're gonna give a free pass here. You've got a pretty special event lined up towards the end of the year.
Yeah, there's a little 5-day event in the UK called the Roger Albert Clark Rally that's reasonably famous, and we did it 2 years ago in the Lancia Stratos and basically broke the internet. And the reception the car had was absolutely amazing. I mean, the car hadn't been out for 5 years prior. That was a tough pill to swallow, as you can imagine. But yeah, for the rest of the year, bit more historic stuff, a couple more Peter Auto events, I think, and then next event for me is Lahti Rally in Finland. So first time in Finland on gravel, so that'll be interesting. I think
in the Stratos?
No, in a Porsche. I'm not that daft, but should be a bit more stable than the Stratos. But no, I think that'll be really enjoyable and fairly interesting. There were some big jumps and crests and super high speed. An IROC bodied car. So yeah, still 3-litre fuel injection. But yeah, like an IROC body car. So yeah, very, very cool car, and yeah, very special event as well. So part of the European Historic Championship with the likes of Jari Matti and all those boys, and Roman Dumas, and yeah, so it'll be very competitive, to say the least.
That is boys' own adventures. That stuff. Speaking of the Labra competition, fat turbo car, Mark Sumpter of Paragon Porsche. You can see just on his visor strip there. That's one of the GT1 specification 993s where they Labra tuned the car up to over 600 horsepower from a 3.6 turbo engine, quite amazing, to try and compete with the Mercedes and the McLarens, etc. Probably without a great deal of success. It was a lot to ask actually, but they got close, and it shows you. I mean, you're very close to the 911 platform, Seb. It never ceases to amaze you what that quite old design now, what it's capable of, and the directions you can take it off in as well. Yeah,
they haven't really changed that much since 1966, believe it or not. But yeah, they've sort of evolved over the year, but that sort of quirky feeling of a Porsche has never really changed. And yeah, all the way through, I think, from the early cars to these later, 997 full GT2 spec. I mean, that's a pretty car, isn't it? I mean, yeah,
gorgeous.
real change from and 60s 911, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's sort of grown. It's been in the gym though. It's whole
wider
life.
and wider. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favourites, the 997 GT3 RSR Felbermayr Proton car, driven by the Generation 1 car driven by Mark Lieb and various other Porsche Works drivers at the time. What's this like for a driver when you've kind of got yourself ready to go, you get to the grid and all of a sudden you've got to sit about? How do you occupy your mind? How do you prepare yourself for the delayed start, so to speak?
You've just got to keep fairly calm, not get yourself too hot or bothered. And the biggest issue with all this stuff is overthinking things. You start looking, you think, who's in front of me? Is he quicker? Who's next to me? What's he going to do? What tyres is he on? Is he on new tyres? Is he on used tyres? Is he on Goodyears? Is he on Michelins? And you just end up thinking of all these scenarios and things, and what am I going to do at the start, and what happens if he does this? And unfortunately, no matter what you think on the start, you've just got to go in the moment and sort of make the most of it and try and be as opportunistic as you can. And that's where it's quite tricky, is when these boys are sat here now, is they'll be thinking of all sorts of stuff and probably thinking it's quite warm. But apart from that, they'll be trying to work out. But yeah, 5-minute board has just gone up by the looks of it.
That's good news. Judging by the sort of car ferry shuffling around that we saw, I think maybe just some cars out of position on the grid. Nothing any more sinister than that by the looks of things. So hopefully we'll get going fairly shortly. The BMW course car will get going, and we'll see some action here with particularly the two Ferraris. Put on a great show yesterday. The blue Red Bull Ferrari, really interesting history behind it. It was driven by Joe Macari, as the name suggests, on the windshield strip, but also driven by Adrian Newey at Le Mans, which is pretty cool. And then the red car driven by one of the best GT drivers ever in Antonio Garcia, who still can get going. The engines fire up. Plethora of machinery here in the Endurance Racing Legends 2. The grid is so big that we split them up. The Endurance Racing Legends 1 for the faster GT1 cars and indeed the prototypes. Here, GT cars all the way through with mainly GT2 specification machines. So on the left, the red car, Team Modena machine. That's Philip Kaduri's car, acquired from Joe Macari. So there's a Joe Macari link across both of those. And I actually walked past the garage and heard those things being heated up and started up. That you think, oh, it's GT, it can't be that loud. They're incredibly violent sounding machines, those Ferraris.
They really are, and there's a real process to them as well. And they're a fairly modern car actually, and there's a lot of data and computers in there that's got to be prepped and set up and preheating and all this sort of thing. So yeah, they're quite a technical piece of kit actually, given the sort of early 2000s cars.
Not only, of course, Porsches and Ferraris, although that makes up the majority of the grid, we have the Mosler in there, as well as a couple of BMW Grand Am E36s. So let's go through the grid then. Marco Zanassi starts on pole position in the Ferrari F430. The similar machine of Philip Kaduri joins him on the front row of the grid. Pierre Eret makes it 3 Ferraris from 3 in the top 3. And Sebastian Glaser, straight out of his race-winning BMW CSL, starts from 4th. Then it's the Mosler of Adam Sharp in 5th, with Joe Macari not long out of his Maserati MC12 GT1. He's now hopped into the Ferrari 360 Modena that he drove at Le Mans many years ago. Jean-Marc Merlin in the first of the Porsche 997s will start 7th. Then it's Dennis Bush sharing the car with his brother, starts in 8th. Then it's Mark Sumter in the second of the 993s in the ex-Labra competition car. Then it's Paul McLean in his 993 GT2 Evo from 1999, one of the last 13 ever made. He starts 10th. Then it's Stephen Osborne in 11th in his 997 GT3 RSR, and Scooter Gable from America in his BMW M3 E36, the ex-PTG Grand Am machine. Robert Offley starts from 13th in his Porsche 993, followed by Nicholas Traber in his 996. Porsche, then it's Matthew Holden in 15th. Todd Brown starts in the Valvoline BMW from 16th. Then it's David Richards in his Porsche 996 GT3 RS in 17th. Giancarlo Tanzi, our dinner companion from last night, in his freshly prepared Red Bull Porsche with a brand new gearbox in it today for this race. Marie-Amélie Delany in the Porsche 996 GT3 RSR starts 19th. Then it's Wolf Zweifler in 20th. 21st is Stephen Keating in the Marcos LM500, which I hope has made it to the grid. Nick Padmore in the Porsche 996 GT3 RSR starts 23rd. And finally, it's Matthias Devis in the Ferrari F430, who starts in 24th. Packed grid here as well. Big commitment from these owners, Seb, to so many of them to bring these special cars out here to and not just parade them, compete with them.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, there's a great array of vehicles on here, and I think yeah, it should make some interesting racing. Imola's probably not the easiest circuit to overtake in these cars, but I've seen Nick Padmore's down starting in 23rd, so he'll be on the charge trying to come through, I'm sure, to hand over halfway through the race.
So they're prepared behind the Lamborghini has been given a rest by the looks of things. It has been the safety car up to now, so it's now I think it's an electric BMW i4 there. So drivers quickly accelerate, brake, trying to load the tyre, get some heat into the tyre, get some heat into the brakes, ready for that long run. Long run into turn 1 here at Imola, into the Tamburello chicane. Always tricky. There's not much real estate to get through and a lot of cars to get through here, so hopefully they all get through nice and clean. Waiting for the pace car to pull away, it will be Marco Zanassi who paces the field. The start-finish line is much further up, right almost at the end of the start-finish stretch. Watch out for the 993 Porsche. Sebastian Glasser got a lot of horsepower in there too on this rolling start. Anxiously waiting. See the brake lights just popping on and off.
Red light to go off.
Yeah. Red lights on. As soon as it goes off, they go. Here we go then. Green flag in the air, and we're racing here in the Endurance Racing Legends GT2 category. Down the hill towards Tamburello they go then, with Marco Zanassi leading the field away in the Red Bull Ferrari. Philip Kaduri right behind him in the red Ferrari. Then it's Sebastian Glasser in that Porsche as they trying to make their moves early on. Good start there from Dennis Bush in the Porsche 996. Scooter Gable trying to make moves early on as well in the BMW E36, but leading away from pole position it's Marco Zanassi, and actually Pierre Herret in the Ferrari. He's been jumped by Sebastian Glasser there up into 3rd place.
That's a great move there from Sebastian Glasser, straight in, not messing around like we discussed on the pre-grid. He's sort of worked out what he wants to do, and he's gone straight in for it.
He's been planning it all along, hasn't he? As Giancarlo Tanzi in the Red Bull Porsche in there as well, coming into Tosa. Hopefully that car running well with the new gearbox in there as they come through now towards Piratella. Really cool corner this, and then down towards Aqua Minerale. It doesn't look an easy corner. I can't imagine what it's like to drive.
It looks a lot tamer on the TV, actually, to be fair. It's all happening through there, and to be honest, it's very important to get a clean exit, because if you're struggling out of here, then you're well under pressure for the chicane at the top of the hill.
And pressure indeed from Philip Kaduri, who just had to give best to Marco Zanassi. Of course, we had a wet finish to this race yesterday. Started on dry tyres, everybody finished on the dry tyres, but the last 5 minutes to 10 minutes or so were in the rain, so it was really tiptoe stuff, and Zanassi actually pulled away in those conditions. But Philip Kaduri in that Team Modena car trying to lay the pressure on early, and these two Ferrari F430s were such a formidable force in period back in the GT2 category at Le Mans, and indeed in the American Le Mans series as well, as the Marcos gets going. So that's good to see. The Marcos finally joining the race there for Stephen Keating, but right amongst the leaders though.
Yeah, well in the mix. Oh, the Marcos.
Hopefully, yeah, difficult when you're just trying to get yourself up to speed, and then all of a sudden the leaders are coming past. But he's got the indicator on there.
Oh, coming through there. I think, yeah, Zanassi's got a bit of a gap now, but looks like Seb Glacey's under a bit of pressure from another one of the Ferraris.
He is, yeah. Pierre Herret, who he passed on lap 1, and potentially when Pierre gets into his groove, gets everything up to temperature, up to racing speed, he might well put it in. Oh no, I don't like to see this.
Friends.
No, this is our dinner companions. No, M Racing, Marciello and the team, they put in a new gearbox, and looks like there's something wrong with that car, that number 25 Red Bull car that's been over to America. It's raced in the Daytona Historic. What a shame for those guys. They won't ever want to sit with us again.
Unlucky. You got the curse of the commentator.
Yes.
Yeah, Philip Kadori's just gone purple middle sector actually, so he's obviously getting in the groove now and yeah, potentially hunting down Zanazzi in front.
So Marciello, the crew chief there, going in to have a chat with Giancarlo Tanzi of what's going on. How's your Italian?
Not great, but there's a lot of arm waving, so yeah, didn't look particularly great.
No. But he could just be that.
That's quite normal, actually. Yeah, they could just be talking about just the weather or something, but you just never know.
Philip Kaduri is not letting this go.
He's trying.
And I guess as well is knowing that you've got a fairly similar car. I mean, they're both being prepared by Nicky Pastorelli. So there's not many excuses anyway. You've got a fairly.
There isn't, and I've been very lucky to race with Philip on several occasions, and I know he is not shy at all in getting stuck in. I don't know if Seb Glacier's just been overtaken. I just saw in the corner of the screen. I think he has.
Yeah, good spot. Yeah, very good spot. Pierre Arret has got through in the Ferrari into third position then. They come through, and yet Kaduri, he's getting stuck in. He is getting stuck in.
He's having a little luck here. He's got his lights on. He's putting some pressure on.
And Philip's a guy who can do it both on the circuits, but he's a rally man as well.
He is a fellow rally man, so yeah, he'll probably be using them last night. Those rally skills in the rain, trying to make the most of everything. But yeah, no, he's a great driver, and yeah, he's done all sorts of stuff and modern and historic racing and rallying, and yeah, he's very experienced.
I love his pink 962.
It's a very, very cool car, yeah.
Has he given you a shot of it yet?
Not yet, not been lucky enough, Matt, but I keep badgering him, so you just never know. Maybe he'll fall over and yeah, break his toe or something. I'll have to jump in and have a go.
Or he just lets you have a go.
Exactly,
there doesn't need to be injury.
No, that's true. That's true.
You need to bump Marino Franchitti out the seat.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets
Marino who?
I've just been told about.
No idea who he is. He's got a brother or something as well.
The voice of Seb Perez there, folks.
Let's hope he's not listening.
He might be. Do you know? He might be. He's a big fan of all things historic motorsport. This breaks my soul seeing this car being pushed back. Yeah. I feel like this is our Italian family. Yeah. The Red Bull racing machine.
Great livery.
The livery is very cool. That was actually because Dieter Quester had brought it in. Oh dear, no, Mark Sumter in the ex-Labra competition, Porsche GT2.
That's not a great place.
Oh no. Hopefully able to get going, because we don't want to see a safety car. We want to see the full amount of racing. I mean, the endurance, we have got going. That's good. That's good to see then for Mark Sumter. Oh, no, that smoke did not look good, Seb.
I wonder if it's breathing. Oh, they were very lucky not to collide there. I wonder if it's breathing heavy and he's got something on the tyre, but yeah, not ideal.
Oh, let's hope not. This is a seriously significant car. It's been driven by some of the greats, Bob Wallach and Stefan Ortelli. That looked like it was leaking something.
It did, yeah. Oh, here we go. Philip Kadori's all over. Zanazzi at the minute.
Yeah, there was definitely fluid of some description coming out of the engine. And now with the number 55 997 Porsche spun off as well. That's Matthew Holden in a sort of tribute to the Flying Lizard Porsche that raced at Le Mans. Yellow flags being shown, but I really that is worrying if there's fluid on this.
A lot of fluid on.
Oh no!
So maybe there's fluid on the. Hopefully, he hasn't dropped too much fluid on the circuit.
Oh dear.
That is end of day, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I guess with it, a racing Porsche of any kind, you do not, any car, you do not want to risk it if it's doing that. It's not good. Philip
is on the loose from Mark Sumter there, using his rally experience to keep him on. Bit of gravel and everything. Oh,
now this is outside the pit window, so this is an unscheduled pit stop then for race leader Marco Zanassi. What's going on with Marco Zanassi? Is it a machine problem? You'd think it is, because this, he's out with the pit window. You have to serve your minimum pit time within a certain window. So what is going on here? There's very much
looking.
It's a puncture.
Boys look relatively confused. So maybe he thought he had a puncture and didn't. Yeah. Maybe it might be from the oil. The past guys at Pastorelli seem fairly happy with the car, but
They want to check. So what's going on here? Are they checking the tyre pressure to check if there is a loss?
They're just going to check to be sure. I mean, I think the issue now, he'll get a penalty for boxing outside the window, so they might as well make the most of it, whether there's something loose or just have a quick visual on the car, make sure everything's all right before they send him back out again. It's a real shame.
Yeah, because at that point, then the wind's kind of gone at this stage, isn't it? It's a short,
Exactly.
it's a relatively short race in 40 minutes. So
Yeah.
Philip Kaduri now,
He's in the lead, very commanding, 14.3 seconds as well.
he is. Now, how do you handle that scenario? You've been all weekend. He's had the battle to focus on. He's now got that big lead behind him. How do you handle these scenarios?
He's just got to keep his head clear now. He's a little bit quicker than Seb Glacier as well, which helps. But yeah, he's just got to go and do his thing now and just drive around, be as consistent as possible, not make any mistakes, and hopefully not trip up in that oil down at the bottom. Is that a safety car board? I can see.
It is. You're keeping me right here, Seb.
I'm keeping you sharp, don't you worry.
Yeah, that's good. I like
this is good news for Minasi as well, so we'll see what happens here. But I don't know who's gone off.
That's Christmas Day for Marco Zanazzi. Now, has he stayed on the lead lap? I think he has. What sort of penalty will he get for that?
He'll probably have to pit again. So he'll have to serve a pit stop within the window. So essentially he'll have to pit twice. But now a safety car has been deployed. I think that will be in his favour. He's
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Oh,
So he's lost a lot of track position. Mark Sumter's car. Yeah, there's a lot of oil of some description on the ground there, unfortunately. Shame.
Oh. That will be, a very, very meticulous inspection.
Yeah, I just wonder if they've deployed the safety car due to the amount of oil down at the last two corners. I'm not too sure, but
Still fluid coming, dripping out of the car.
Possibly gone in quite a catastrophic fashion.
Oh. That's, I mean, at Tut Hills, Seb, do you get that sort of type of car, GT2 car coming in, or
We get a bit of the later 996 race cars coming in. We haven't had a 993. We've done some work on some 993 road cars, but not the race cars. We haven't had any of those in. But a few of the slightly later 996, 997 cars we've got on site, and they're a really, really cool car. But yeah, I think that's the remnants of Mark Sumter's engine, unfortunately.
Oh no. That is a properly
in a big mess, but I just wonder how much oil it's dropped on circuit if that's the reason for the safety car. I would imagine so. If it's gone that badly.
Have you had that? I dread to ask. Have you had that experience on track where you've no idea that it's there? You come around the corner.
Yeah, and it's just the engine dies. I mean, to be honest, yeah. So yeah, I assume whether the spin's from the engine failure, he's lost engine braking, or he's had some oil on the tyres or something like that. I think when he sets off, you see quite a bit of fluid.
Starts to drip just before he sets off.
Shame. Yeah, you see it dropping now, unfortunately.
Oh.
Shame.
What a shame for Mark Sumter. I'm sure, for even someone like Mark, who's traded Porsches of all sorts for years and years and years, that particular Porsche is, I'm sure that's one of his most cherished possessions, full stop.
I'm not surprised. It's a very, very cool car. I just saw on the side, driven by Eric Comas, fellow Lancia Stratos legend, and obviously, very famous in this part of the world, and with Formula One and Italian fans. Obviously, he spent a lot of time out in Japan as well with the Nissan project. He had his Nissan here yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. It's here as well. So, fantastic! Yeah,
he took it for a gentle run round.
Little cruise around, fantastic. But I think he drove it here from Florence.
Yeah, yes, he did. Which
impressive.
That's very cool, and it's the car from Le Mans, and he's road registered it.
It is, yeah. There was only ever 3 cars made, and that was one of the cars, and it's the only one left in private hands. The other 2 are owned by Nissan, and that car is kept by him. I think it was part of the deal for Le Mans, and very, very special car.
That was probably quite a good deal actually at the time when you think about it. They're probably like,
yeah, you can have that. Yeah, the only one. Yeah, it was something to do with homologation where they couldn't build the requested amount by the FIA, so they said, well, we'll build one, and it had to compete. So that was the only road converted car as well. So it's a very, very special car. This is not ideal for the guys having to drive over all the oil and the sand, but hopefully it gets cleaned up soon by the marshals and we get racing again.
Yeah, I always find whenever I come to race in Italy, there's some great marshals in Italy, and you have to, every year, you have to get your marshalling license. So there's like a course you have to go on to get your marshal license every year. So it's, yeah, and not many, I mean, there's a small number of countries in the world that have this just absolutely infectious passion for motor racing, and Italy is certainly one of those countries that have that just unfettered love for it. I think what we'll do, Seb, is we'll let you go and get ready, because you've got a 2-litre cup race coming.
I've got a little Porsche race coming up, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, I think Christian's going to be starting, and then yeah, I'll take over somewhere in the middle, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, we're going to be following it very, very closely, and we've got James Turner's coming in to commentate with us for that. So
very good.
Watching your progress. Well, thank you so much for coming to join us. Brilliant. And best of luck for all of the events you've got. You're living the life. You really are.
Very lucky, to say the least. So yeah, no, it's great, and yeah, looking forward to see what's next. But you know, hopefully these guys get going sorting. Hopefully Philip Kadori takes it to the flag. Let's see.
We'll see. And if he does, you can say, well, since you've won, when he's in a good mood, that's when to ask him if you can have a go at the Yost.
Exactly. Yeah, I helped you win that race, Philip, when I was sat in the commentary box at Imola. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I'll be watching very closely anyway.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks, Seb.
Thank you.
Seb Perez from Tuthill Porsche and various other places. Watch out for him in the RAC rally at the end of the year in the Stratos, taking it to all these Mark II Escorts and Porsches and various other things. He'll be out there in the 2-litre cup, which is the next race coming up. We've got just over 25 minutes left on the clock here in this second race of the weekend for the Endurance Racing Legends 2. And interesting, the pit window is opening in 12 seconds. So when the Lamborghini pace car brings the cars around, they will have the opportunity to jump in, and that is exactly when you want to jump in, when the safety car is still going round, of course. Cars behind the safety car not going as quick as they would in full racing conditions. The number 111 there, ex-Labra car, driven by Jean-Paul Jarrier. Drove with that outfit on several occasions. Their various machines. Very, very cool team, Labra, and the various machines. They run Corvettes as well, of course. Now back into the pits then. Oh dear, the engine cover coming off of the Red Bull Ferrari F430. Nicky Pastorelli's team studying the car and the engine bay very, very closely. And I think they may well have pitted out width of the pit window there. So this will potentially drop them off the lead lap. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a second victory for Marco Zanassi. A great opportunity then for Philip Kaduri. As yet, Marco's getting out of the car. Oh dear. Normally it's good to see people shaking hands because it's a well-mannered thing to do, but when you see a driver and his team shaking hands after getting out of a race car, that's usually a telltale sign that it's all done, unfortunately. Now, the pit window is now open, so we'll see if the safety car is going to pull in here or not. We are within that pit window. We are back to green flag racing then. So who's going to come in? Who's going to go for the pits? Into the pits comes one of the Porsche 911 RSRs, car number 85. In it goes with the Juniper livery on there. Back to green flag, and we've got a lot of pit callers. Joe McCarry has come in the Ferrari 360 Modena. Dennis Bush ready to hand over to his brother Mark in the 996 GT3 RS. Nicholas Traber in. Oh, it's super busy in pit lane now. Nicholas Traber with the 996 GT3 RSR in. Scooter Gable in the BMW M3. Then Matthias Davis as well also in. So there's about 3/4 of the field have come in, but Philip Kaduri, our race leader, has not, and he's being pressured by Sebastian Glaser in the Porsche 993 GT2 Evo, an older car but with more power, so it's a straight line speed. It's quick. Oh no, round it goes for the number 55 Porsche. Oh dearie me, the 997 GT3 RSR, Matthew Holben there with the Flying Lizard throwback livery there. So coming into, just gets it all wrong there. Too much speed through the Villeneuve chicane over into the gravel and brings the gravel onto the circuit, so the other drivers are going to have to be very careful of that. Got back moving though, and as Joe Bradley rightly mentioned earlier on, very good here that the gravel traps do their job. They slow the car down away from getting to the barrier, but they're not deep, so unlike somewhere like Mugello, the cars can sink in and have to be recovered. Here the drivers usually are able to get themselves out the gravel trap on their own power, which is always good. Philip Kaddouri then trying to pull away from Sebastian Glasser, who's got that brilliant straight line speed. Potentially not as, certainly got the horsepower, potentially maybe not as slippery through the air as the Ferrari F430. With the quite tall rear wing on the 993 Porsche. That one's one of the 1999 GT2R Evos. So one of only 13 cars built in that last year of the 993. One of the others of those 13 was meant to be here, unfortunately. Tim Pappas and Jeroen Bleekemolen, who have been with us for a few rounds this year in Peter Auto competition, but unfortunately business commitment at home for Tim Pappas sadly couldn't make it over here. He'll be dearly missed. So 20 minutes left on the clock then. Who's your money on here? Philip Kaddouri looks like he's got this very much under control. Driver change going on for one of the Porsches. That's car number 69, the Porsche 996 GT3 RSR. And the 996 is a car where it's very much Marmite. There's some people really like it and some people don't. Some people think, oh, it's first water cooled 911 after the 993, and I didn't like the styling, but I'm a fan. I'm a big fan, especially in that RSR spec. Nothing wrong with the sound of that Ferrari 4-litre V8 of Philip Kaddouri. And Seb Perez, who joined us a moment ago, very much in the in the Philip Kaddouri fan club. Big rally buddies. I imagine he might be having a go at the East African Safari again in a Porsche. He comes through the Tamburello, then down towards Villeneuve. Two really interesting chicanes, two quite different characters of chicanes and really tricky to get right. A proper technical driver's challenge here in Imola. Up towards Tosa, slowest corner on the circuit, and then up the hill then. Listen to that, absolutely superb. Then up through Piratella, much quicker corner, really quick left-hander there through Piratella, and then down the hill, Aqua Minerale. For many, one of the, sometimes the most satisfying corner when you get it right, but tricky corner. Philip Kaddouri managing it beautifully. Into the pits comes the Felbermayr Proton Porsche 997. RSR, I think my favourite RSR, the RS 997. Proper sequential gear shift on that one. Good aero, very successful car in period. Gaggle going on here. Pierre Herret trying to make some moves now through on a little bit of lap traffic. Pierre Herret at the moment running a little bit further down the order actually. In fact, he's had 2 pit stops, so there's something not right there with Pierre Herret as a race leader comes into the pit lane then. Philip Kaddouri, car number 48, comes in to see the Pastorelli crew. 2 minutes minimum pit stop time here for Philip. So that starts as soon as they hit the marks in the pit box. You've got to have that 2-minute minimum pit time, and it's checked based on what you should have in terms of transit time. You can see mechanic there on the left hand side with the headset looking at the stopwatch all the time, not wanting to give away any second at all. gives the driver a little bit of a chance to have a breather too after going around what is a really busy track here at Imola. Joe McCarry in the Ferrari 360 car that he raced at Le Mans many years ago, trying to make his way past Scooter Gable here in the ex-PTG BMW run by Tom Milner, Tommy Milner's dad, who was the man at the front of PTG. There's nothing wrong with this. They run off the corner of that E36 BMW. And Joe McCarry trying what he can to try and get through. And Scooter Gable up into third, has pitted as well. Now. Okay, so Scooter Gable up in a very good position, but I wonder if he's maybe served his minimum pit time, because he wasn't running up as strongly as he was in third position. Engine fired then for Philip Kaduri in the Ferrari F430. Came in the race lead. Can he maintain that race lead? Or will Sebastian Glaser come through and take the lead in that Porsche 993 GT2R Evo with the rear wing and with the intake on the rear wing? I think it's so classic 993 GT2 that it looks so cool. Remember where I used to go and have in fact, we've got a real expert coming to join us right now who's going to tell us all about these cars. I'll put the headset on now. It's none other than Corvette racing legend Jan Magnussen.
Hey, how you
Jan,
doing?
hello. Thank you very much for coming to join us.
Thank you.
Here, some cars here that you recognise in this grid.
Pretty sure all of them. Yeah, so they're from. When I started doing sports cars in '99, I think this is the whole field.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Oh, amazing.
So
now there's one car that was meant to be here that when it came up on the entry list, the Corvette that you drove at Laguna Seca in 2009.
Well, that's a bit shorter.
That's a big. It needed a bit of repair.
Yeah.
Tell us your memories of that day, about those last few laps. Laguna Seca 2009 with Jörg.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of the best battles I've ever seen.
Same here. The last, especially the last 20 minutes of that race was absolutely fantastic. It was so on edge, so much respect. There was a lot of bumping going on, but it was, respectful bumping racing. And to give a little bit of the story of the race was our pace was fantastic that whole week and also in the race, and we were leading for most of the race. Last pit stop we had an issue with the safety net, so we had a long pit stop and lost the lead. And I was out catching him back, and I caught him with about 20 to go or something, 20 minutes. And then the race was on, and it was absolutely fantastic, every trick in the book. And got by illegally, had to give him place back because I was off track when I passed him. And then comes the last lap. So watching the video, it looks like it's pretty light out, but it was super dark. And on the video you can see how much the headlights are shining on the road in front of the car, so it's very dark. And obviously one of the things I had done was turn all the lights on, so I didn't want to let him know where I was. So every time he looked in the mirror, it was just glare. And that really bit me at the end, because coming to the last corner, I was too far back for an attack, and I was not really focused on him anymore. I was pissed that we were going to lose this race because it was in the bag. It was so fast. And but I guess because I had all the lights on, he needed to try and control me in case I was right behind him. So one of the things you can do is that you stop a little bit more in the middle of the corner, control the guy behind, and it kind of surprises me a bit, and I bump him, and it gives me the opportunity to, now it's just a drag race to the finish line. And we go, and I sort of creep by him, he pushes me towards the pit wall, but I get my nose by, and then I just get a little bit of a nudge on the right rear, and the car starts to spin. And but we were so close to the finish line that I just couldn't get myself to lift. I knew if I lifted, I'd lose right then and there. But in my mind, it kind of makes sense I need to stay in it and see what happens.
And I guess
what happened was a huge wreck.
It was a big one. It was a big one. And I guess if Jörg was in your seat at that point, he wasn't going to lift either, was he? If you'd swapped positions, you guys probably would have done the same thing as each other.
Yeah. There was nothing to it, and we're good mates, and he was very quick to get on the phone and get in contact with me afterwards to make sure I was okay. So it was a hard hit. It's the hardest hit I've had in racing. And but it's one of those things. It still ranks up there as the best race I've had, probably.
And were you aware that exact car is now back racing in this paddock?
Yeah, because I saw it last, like 2 years ago at Le Mans. I did the classic, Le Mans Classic, and I was walking and I heard this engine fire up, and I think, I know that sound. And that was the car. So I walked over and had a chat with the owner, and he was all up in arms, and I asked what year it was, and he told me it was, so it was a 2010, I think.
Yeah.
This was a 9, but it was the same car. And I said, I'm pretty sure I really crashed one of these cars, and he said, this is it. This is the car. I'm like, oh, really? Because they fixed it, and we raced it in 2009. We carried on with that car. It got fixed.
Really?
And we raced it and won with it.
Wow.
So it was already back then, Corvette racing was so on it with safety and all that. So fantastic. Yeah.
But you were one of the rivals. I mean, you had so many rivals because Corvette were the benchmark.
Yeah.
I think anybody of any factory would agree that you guys, the drivers that you competed with, the team, the pit stops, the car, everything was if you could beat that, you guys,
you'd probably win.
You'd probably win. Yeah. But then this Ferrari, the car on screen right now, leading the race, Philippe Kaduri.
Yeah.
That was a seriously impressive car as well. How much of a threat were they when they came along and you were racing them in GT2?
Huge, and enough that we had to build new cars, and we had to develop new cars. So a Roundup was what year is that car?
That's a 2010, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we kept developing the C. At that time we were racing the C6. I think the C7 arrived 13 or 14 or something, and that came about for different reasons. But we were really pushing for it because of that. And other Porsche were developing. I'm unsure about BMW at that time, but no. But those cars from Ferrari and from Porsche, made Corvette build new cars and better cars and keep developing. It was a fantastic time. I loved that time. The time I had in GT racing is the best of my career.
And tell us about America specifically.